Would you all five agree that transporters who worked during the COVID period made handsome margins? Yes or no?
हमको अभी तक इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड या इंडस्ट्रियल ये मिला नहीं है. We are still considered to be a sector.
In my 16, 17-year career, the maximum number of trips ever a truck of mine has done was in COVID.
We had to constantly upgrade.
When you want to diversify, you want to grow, you need your own people.
And I would say that was one turning point for our organization also. Because when people were demanding vehicles, we were always there.
I think I needed to be challenged enough.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Trans India, presented by Light Metrics, making roads safer for everyone, everywhere. This is a special 2-episode feature wherein 5 young transporters discuss the transport industry, challenges, and the way forward. This exclusive panel discussion on Trans India is brought to you by Light Metrics, making roads safer for everyone, everywhere. With me today are 5 young transporters, some maybe not so young, if you may like, but yes, young at heart, of course. Most of them are second-gen transporters, but there is also one transporter who, despite his father's warning, is in the transportation business and he seems to be enjoying it. The industry has seen quite a few ups and downs in the last few years. Diesel prices are on the rise, toll taxes have gone up, police harassment has gone up. Basically, the operating costs have gone up on all counts. But has freight rate increased to that extent? They'll answer the question, not me. At the same time, a few of these youngsters are part of associations. Are the associations doing enough? Do they need to do more? Or do they need to be more focused? With me today, Chirag Katira, Mohit Nawani, Rima Kothari, Manish Sharma, Rahul Dakne. Except for Mohit, the rest are second-gen transporters. So let me start with Mohit first. Mohit, a Bandra boy and transportation business, they don't go hand in hand. How did you get into this?
So, for us, the business journey has been a matter of business integration. We started as real estate developers. And at that point of time, the problem statement was cement quality, which made us diversify into supply of cement. And as we started supplying cement, we identified service issues when it comes to trucking, and which then kind of led us into trucking. So it's been one step after another step, integrating business after business. And yeah, who love to do work, then I don't think you can be industry agnostic.
But no one ever told you that the transportation business is going to be a pool of lot of troubles?
Honestly, more than the pool of troubles, maybe 20 years ago, the margins justified the trouble, which may not be the case today. So I wouldn't say it's always been this way. It is meant to be an operationally intensive industry, right? And that's not an Indian thing. It's a global thing because of the nature of the industry. You're going to have drivers and trucks. The asset is on the road. So that's not unique to our country. That's how the nature of the profession is. But maybe back in 2005, 7, 8, the numbers justified that kind of, there was an effort reward ratio, which I believe since then has gradually kept dropping to where we are today. But I think my friends will also speak about that a lot.
So while Mohit, transportation was not his first choice of work, same was for Rima. Rima has been in the media space for a long time and eventually she decided to join the family business. What prompted you to take this plunge?
I think I needed to be challenged enough because being from sales background, I was already pushed to a certain level. And by God's grace, I used to achieve my targets. And I think there's nothing better when you actually get out of your comfort zone and you're challenged and you want to learn more. And nothing better than joining your father's business, which was then called a very male-oriented industry. I think it's just a stereotype now that, everyone is just talking. I think women are there, but they're not at leadership role. So I think that kind of pushed me to join him. When you have your own business, it just makes sense. And it was extremely challenging, right? We all know how transportation is challenging, that every day a new learning.
But would you agree with Mohit that it was challenging with good profits back then?
Back then, yes, honestly. Now, I think profits are just depleting and the costs are only going high. With recent OEMs increasing their rate for buying trucks, from toll rates to going up to, I think we all have a lot to contribute, which I can, in the conversation we will, but I don't think your clients are ready to pay that kind of money back. Compliances costs have gone up drastically.
So, just to set the context right, all five transporters on this panel come from different segments. Chirag is into part load, Mohit is into the cement movement business, Rima is into reefer, vaccines, medicines, Manish is in FMCG, and Rahul specializes in exempt cargo movement. Rahul, coming to you, family business, an obvious choice.
Yes. Look, see, family business, it was there, but will mostly I had to come in because or koi nahi. That was no other option to look.
Which is the case with I think a lot of people.
Yes, and back then my dad shifted from full-time business to politics. So then there had to be someone standing here. So
But एक
after-
बात बताओ, as with a political backing, क्या ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बिजनेस थोड़ा सिंपल हो जाता है?
Yes. मतलब हमारे लिए तो सिंपल है.
Now we know who to go to business for.
Yes. So political connections do help.
You're my best friend from the day.
That's what he said. Now, like you have to diversify, get into politics. But I'll correct you. जो आपने बोला इंडस्ट्री में, एट दिस मोमेंट टिल डेट हमको अभी तक इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड या इंडस्ट्रियल ये मिला नहीं है. वी आर स्टिल कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ सेक्टर. Secondly, all this while this was happening in 2017-18, I realized कि business मेरा है, truck में से है. So a client who owns nothing of this, but still he is the one who is telling me नहीं इतने में बिठाना ही है तुमको. ड्राइवर भी मेरा नहीं है जिसको मैं रोज मिल रहा हूँ या सब तो even he is not interested. उसको ये नहीं तो कोई और से. And then I decided something is wrong, and to just find out what is wrong, I restarted my studies. So now presently I'm doing my PhD in transport trade policies for Mumbai University. So कुछ DNA में ही चेंज करना पड़ेगा तो ही सब कुछ शायद से अच्छा हो.
We'll come to changes, Manish. You're in an FMCG space which requires quality handling of goods. I mean, nobody wants a fridge or an AC with a scratch. What challenges do you face when it comes to movement of this kind of product?
So I would say FMCG and FMCG both are very, very delicate products because any of the scratches or damages directly going to hamper the quality plus the pricing of the product. Most of the time, the packaging part and the loading part is with the clients. So only challenge what we have is the way they load it. So majority of the time, the loading is still manageable because that's happening within the factories. The issue is generally at the unloading points, whereby there's no one who's trained enough to handle those loads. So what we have is we put up protection covers inside the vehicle. Both sides we have tarpaulins which will protect the goods. Other than that, we have also got some belts which is there in the vehicle so that whenever they want to strap it out, they can just strap the goods and keep it sealed.
What do you mean? Does the client deduct an amount from you in case there is a damage to the goods?
Yeah, and that's a very considerable amount. So when you go and check your freights, I think your 3 to 4% freight come down just because they're debiting you for all the damages. And probably few of the FMCs debit you for shortages also. With a very seal-okay vehicle, they just debit you for the shortages.
But is there an incentive in case you deliver without any damage? Is there a...
There's no incentive. Just
There's
you
no
get-
carrot and stick, just a stick.
You just get your 100% freight. That is the only incentive. Yeah.
Chirag, coming to you, parcel business is again a very complicated business from what I see, small parcels being collected from different places. Tell me, how many parcels do you handle in a day?
So we deliver 20,000 parcels.
A day?
Ramesh.
Okay. How do you make this operationally possible?
So I tell you, in SMBT, it's very much possible because we have a joint company. So this company is completely run family. So we are like 32 family members. And had that then we are like 5 brothers. We are 5 brothers. Then our cousins are there. And yeah, so I think it's easy for us because of the family and only possible for us because of the family.
How does that help? I mean, how do you manage and control, first of all? I mean, who gives instructions?
See, so my dad is a founder and chairman, so a lot of instruction comes from him. Then second man it's me. And what we have done is we have divided the responsibilities. So SOP is very clear with every individual. I know what I have to do, what is my task, and same is clear with my cousins and my uncles. So things are transparent, and we know where to not cross the boundary. There is a borderline.
A proper delegation of the
Boss is there. So things are very clear with me. Where I have to step in, where I don't have to step in. Comfort zone जहाँ पे है वहीं पे रहना है, उसके आगे नहीं जाना है. So lot of things are there in the joint family, and transparency is very important. And
Would it be in case there is some issue? I mean, somebody crosses a line or something goes wrong. Who steps in and who gets the train back on track?
the the master.
Look, and this is actually a very important lesson, because in my journey of 30 years plus in this industry, I have seen companies fail because while the brothers were happy with each other, when the kids came in, there was a misalignment of thoughts, there were ego issues, and things went haywire. So,
But I'll try to add this. Okay, why it's so much possible in our company and why there's so much of love in amongst the brothers. So every brother has not every father and son, they don't work together. Like uncle and nephew work together. I've been trained under my uncle. I was in Nasir, or 6 years away from my house. I stayed in Nasir. I was in Vapi. Same way my cousin Netik. He stayed under Chachu. Another, not his father. So this is very clear with us that no son will work with his father. Right now also, nobody's sitting with their fathers. Everyone is sitting with the Chacha. So that is a policy. And then so whenever I go to Nasik, we all stay together. And there's a one saying in Gujarati, जिसका translate in Hindi, जिसका अन्नदार उसका मन ना, जिसका अन्न जुदा उसका मन जुदा. So we have a policy whenever I'm going to Nasik, all cousins eat together, and we also have our second home farmhouse up here. So we make sure that once in a like not twice in a month we all stay together with kids, with family. I go to Nasik. We have a house in Devlani. So we make sure that whole family is staying together at least once in 15 days. Really? So this works.
yes, Mohit.
Interestingly and coincidentally, on this switching, we've done the exact same thing in the past. So when I joined the business, I spent my first 5 to 7 years actually working with my uncle. And when his son joined the business, he spent his first 5 years working with my father. And as a formula for us, it also became an extension that we get certain traits inherently from our parents. And this crisscross training gives you a very different, you don't end up becoming a Xerox copy, if I may say.
So, who turned out to be a better product?
That time will tell us.
That is called the politically class. Correct. Okay, guys, coming to the transportation business. Yes, Manish, you want to add
So
something?
I just wanted to say this, that in today's world, every corporate is talking about getting away from family. They don't want the businesses to be run by families.
Yes, there's a talk of CEOs and getting external people.
And there are two examples which says that yes, families are still here who can manage the business.
Or to add something to this, we have VP, we have CEO, professionals are running SNGT right now also. Now we are playing very minimal role because we are diversified into warehousing, construction, but then also into IT. But you know how it is, we need professionals. See, because when you're growing, when your team is growing, you can't control everything. And we have to learn to delegate. So that is happening in the company. But again, see, why is it possible? Because family is there. Today I'm here for an interview for the series. Make up for you. जब कोई ना कोई पीछे ध्यान रख रहा है. So this is where the family plays a very important role. When you want to diversify, you want to grow, you need your own people.
And we should not also forget the fact that road transportation business on the whole, if we see, more than 70% transport companies are family managed businesses. I mean, that's in their DNA.
But this way, sorry, this if you just keep, I mean, of course, tech's a very big industry, but if you just keep technology aside, at a global level also, if you see a lot of businesses and the larger businesses,
The big house business.
yeah, are still have a family level of control, maybe professionally managed. India mein to it is definitely there. I mean, when we talk about big companies, we talk about Sunens only, right? But true. But even if you look at it at a global level, between the Walmarts, between the Louis Vuittons and certain other companies, you will see that barring tech in other industries, the family owned, controlled nature of business does continue to still thrive. This
And automobile dealerships is again one such segment where it is primarily family managed businesses. Yes, Eva.
We have a partner, and I think it's gone a long way. We have 43 years old company, right? And I completely agree. So I'm a very strong believer of old methods with new, getting old traditions and merging them with new tech and everything, right? We get, as second generation, we can get that on table. But unka jo tajurba hai, honestly, I don't like. He said my father steps in. Today, my father, Shukutari or Dilip Naik, his partner, will step in, or Vishwas Naik will step in wherever it's needed. You need to have that legacy going, which definitely
Experience
helps.
counts.
100%, because few things as second generation we will be very enthused, right? हमें ये करना है, but it all comes with a cost, and they are more practical whether that implementation is really need of an hour. So I think family, it's very important to have that legacy
Also-
going forward.
Also, one thing I would add, as I said, the family queue, why is important also. See, because, with SNGT, it's very clear. If we want to build a larger company, we want more and more people to be part of it. We want to employ more and more people. We want to expand. And our objective is very clear. Whoever is becoming part of SNGT, we call them SNG team. So, जो भी हमारे साथ जुड़ेगा, he become an SNG team. So, SNGT family will always grow. We are very clear. And I'll share one policy that, हमारा जो retention है, that is around 85%. Even the people who don't know, so we still have 40, 50 staff who don't know how to operate a computer. They're still with us. So things are very clear with us. Whoever has come to us was a part of SNGT. That is why SNGT is here. Today's those people are still with us. So it's very clear. So my father has his dialogue. SNGT में आओगे खुद की मर्जी से, जाओगे मेरी मर्जी से. So see, we are giving franchises to the staff. 45 branches, franchises are taken care by the staff. जिसने पार्सल कंप्लीट किया becomes a franchisee partner of us. Same is with the Chalak Malaks ki. So we have lot of program inside and we develop people to give them a ownership feeling. I think ये जब होता है तो automatically your family, you're just expanding your family and business will automatically start growing. See, you need professionals, but professional का जो strategy है वो I think हमारे transport में इतना काम नहीं कर सकता है, because for them is use the people and throw them. We believe in
Ethics.
different ethics.
No, so I tell you, I
So
will
policy
add
very
to
different.
him.
So I think
My company also has very old people who may or may not use a computer. But I think, and we of
Never.
course follow Chalak se Malak, not at a very large scale, but whatever best we can. I think when you give them ownership and make them feel a part of your family, automatically they will work with a lot of conviction, which of course during the course of our talk, would want to share something which one of my Sarthi spoke to me, which really touched me. And then that's when I realized this is what, my father and his partners have built. This is what they've got on table.
So I think transportation business is more about families together. Every individual in the organization and their family is important to all of us.
And also one thing, even if you don't have a family, treat your people like a family. You need to build a family for transport industry. Professionals यहाँ पे disruption create नहीं हो सकता. We all are seeing what is happening in the startups. They are trying to create disruption, but they are getting disrupted. So you need a family. या तो family बनाओ या तो family के साथ चलो.
But one reason for that, if you go to see why I think that is important, is out of, again, the nature, stemming from the nature of the industry, being 24/365. So when you're in factories, I mean, some factories do operate 24 hours, but there's still shifts. Here, our team is working, the break time or the 9 to 6 idea cannot work, right?
Correct.
So till you're not able to generate this family wala feeling or a certain loyalty, or in whichever way each one will be trying to do it, you will not be able to function.
We will continue this conversation on the other side of this very short break. You have been watching Trans India, presented by Light Metrics, making roads safer for everyone, everywhere.
Managing a large, high-performing fleet takes more than data. It takes insight, visibility, and fast, focused action. RideView Fleet Portal brings it all together in one intelligent platform. Your fleet's safety health in one snapshot. See AI-powered coaching recommendations, top drivers, and risky event trends, so you always know what needs your focus. Zero in on critical safety risks, from speeding and distraction to fatigue. Filter by event, preview clips instantly, and take action in seconds. Speeding remains one of the most frequent and preventable risks on the road. RideView flags these incidents instantly, helping you monitor patterns and intervene early. Missed stops at intersections risk safety. RideView flags these events so you can act before they cause serious consequences. Tailgating and near misses are red flags for high-risk driving. RideView helps you identify and address these patterns proactively. Fatigue is hard to spot, but RideView's AI detects early signs like blink changes, helping you support drivers and avoid fatigue-related incidents. Seatbelts are a basic but critical safety measure. RideView helps ensure compliance by flagging violations, reinforcing safety culture in every vehicle. Phone use is a top cause of distraction. RideView detects it so you can coach drivers before it leads to accidents. Texting while driving raises crash risk 23x. RideView spots these moments on video, helping you act before an incident occurs. Track every vehicle in real time. With live video streaming that gives you full visibility into what's happening on the road. RideView's AI surfaces coachable moments, making sessions efficient, constructive, and focused on improvement. The result? Engaged drivers and measurable behavior change. Need to investigate an incident? Just select the trip and time. Request the video and track its retrieval in real time. No delays, no bottleneck. From insight to action, RideView empowers modern fleets to drive measurable safety and efficiency. Every trip, every day.
Welcome back to Trans India, presented by Light Metrics, making roads safer for everyone, everywhere. We are in conversation with 5 young transporters who have grown their business, diversified, and are still looking to grow despite the challenges. We are talking to Reema Jogani, Manish Sharma, Chirag Katira, Rahul Dhakne, and Mohit Nawani.
I don't know how many of you would know, back in the days, जब ट्रक्स की लोडिंग होती थी रात को 12, 1, 2 बजे तक, you would have seen. No, fathers used to be in the office 2 बजे, 3 बजे तक गोडाउन में बैठे हैं, ट्रक्स की लोडिंग चल रही. So those are the days. But tell me, post COVID, how much has changed for your company? तो Exim तो बहुत ही चेंज हुआ आई थिंक.
Post COVID, of course, Axiom पूरा change हुआ है. We widen our reach, but same time we have developed कि सब कुछ हमको नहीं लाना है. So जिस स्टेट में जो चल रहा है, we find out, we find the proper channel partner and we hand over the business to them. Diablo करो, we are at a back end. Okay, so वो सारा सब कुछ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन जो मैनेज करते हैं, instead of we going to the state and again spending of the infrastructure.
But post COVID, any infrastructure या tech से आपको कुछ benefit हुआ? Did things become simpler for you?
Yes. Post-COVID, so personally, we should say that cashless pura, it is everything is now cashless.
And I think that
Cash
everybody would agree.
withdrawal,
Hey, now.
It is come to zero. So of course, that was the first.
That was a blessing in disguise, I think.
Yes.
Manish, FMCG movement, did it pick up post-COVID? I mean, of course, during the COVID period, there was a lull, but once things got back on track, was there a surge suddenly?
Yeah, Girish. So you're right in saying that immediately after the COVID movement, there was a surge into FMCG movements. I would just remember for those days that for a lot of people, they had sent back their drivers back home, thinking that, okay, there's not going to be any business. They would just retain 10 to 20% of the drivers. We did vice versa. Only 10 or 50% of drivers were missing, whereas all of them were there in offices. So we were arranging food for them or whatever they required, it was all available. And I would say that was one turning point for our organization also, because when people were demanding vehicles, we were always there. So that was one thing.
That made a lot of
That made a lot of things. And secondly, because we were into FMCG, we were allowed to work outdoors. So there were a lot of companies which were not allowed to operate. And we had that advantage that we would put up the papers on front. We had permission from the corporations or probably from the local governments saying that, okay, these vehicles are allowed. Not just FMCGs, there were a lot of time when we were moving goods for hospitals. So that was one peak time when drivers could be very much encouraged. Okay, we are now into that role. Which
frontline workers or
frontline workers, right?
But Deepa, you had the advantage, I mean, you were moving vaccines, medicines, you were a semi-god during that period.
Not at all. Honestly, I would differ there because we also took some time. Then we realized that, when we were carrying, of course, COVID vaccination, we had to set it up for our drivers because by then drivers had already gone on leave and we had to get them back. But to my surprise, my drivers were stopped. We had to take letters from pharma clients that we are carrying essential goods. So it was tough. If my staff would go to the office, they were stopped in spite of saying we are transporters. So I think that recognition and that thing was still missing. Like doctors, they need permission to go. You were lucky that you were not stopped in spite of you being in FMCG. We being in pharma, initially we had challenges for first 1.5 months. Then, of course, by then everything became better and they realized that we are carrying vaccination. But initially 1.5 months was not that great.
No, what was the impact on your business? I mean, construction stopped completely during COVID to post-COVID for a considerable time.
No, so it was a turning point for us as well. From the point of view that, so in my 16, 17-year career, the maximum number of trips ever a truck of mine has done was in COVID. क्योंकि traffic ही नहीं था. ठीक है. So that record is still to be broken till date. So
So you mean Nitin Gadkari's infrastructure boom has not helped you
no,
increase the number of trips?
no, that it is. See, so we were just discussing in the start, right? At least in a city like Mumbai, I consider it to be fortunate that in 15 years, the travel time continues to at least remain the same and hasn't worsened. So there is some pace upkeep that is happening. It needs much improvement. That's definitely there, but at least it's not deteriorated.
Vehicle population has boosted.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we
Not
haven't,
deny that.
exactly. So we haven't deteriorated. For us, what COVID did to the market actually was more interesting. That in the last 25, 30 years, it's been the first time that infra and real estate have kind of boomed together. I mean, two sides of a coin. We have the AQI problem and things like that.
No, yes.
All said and done, with this happening, from a top line or a business volume growth standpoint, in the last 5 years, we actually haven't had to really do much of business development. I mean, as long as whatever business comes, if we are taking care of our operations, growth has been intensively or inherently been happening very continuously over the past 4 to 5 years.
Chirag, what was the impact on your business? I mean, Part Road business, tough.
Part Road business was slow, but we were still working. And I feel immediately after COVID or maybe COVID was partly over, we got a big boom in the business. The reason why, because we were operating, offices were open, staff was there. In fact, we had a very big labor camp at our complex, so in our hub. So there were around 600 people staying in place every day. that is where CEAT also stepped in and Mahindra also stepped in. And we used to provide free means also for a lot of labors. So, but we are very much functional. We are working, and I think during COVID, a new industry was born of
E-commerce.
mask ho gaya, then sanitizer ho gaya. So, lot of small companies were formed, and they all needed transport. So, I think this is where, like, we were getting a good business, and they say even the customers understood ke kaun hamare, they're there to service industry. So, they got to know that I think it is something जो बंद नहीं हुआ, जिसने वो टाइम पे भी सर्विस दिया. So, and we used to do a lot of free deliveries for the hospitals. So we had committed 7 trucks to the Nasik, this thing also, Nasik Mahanagara Palika. That 7 trucks will do free deliveries for whatever required. And we did a lot of noble work that time. Yes, you.
To add on, of course, it boomed for us after 1.5 months. But to add on to, I think e-commerce played a very important role, right?
E-commerce are actually
It just boomed completely. All of us. So I keep saying this in most of my forums and wherever I talk, that COVID really taught all of us how to also operate remotely. How many of us could really operate remotely? And at that point of time, I definitely give the credit to our customers, because at that point of time, for them, especially at loading and unloading point, they had to ensure that our Sathis are taken care of. So the infrastructure was created. And when it was not created, I think transporters played a very important role of giving food to working and collaborate. Did you ever think transporters would collaborate and work together and have one voice? I think that is what COVID did.
Yes, sir.
So I'll come to the point ki Sarthis that time were given all infrastructure. They were asking food and everything. But is this happening today?
We'll come to truck drivers in a bit.
Yes, that I agree.
Girish, I'll just add one more thing.
Yes.
I think there was a lot of changes into reverse logistics. So basically, these customers would never ever give respect to transporters, and that was one turning point when transporters started getting pre-orders. So your vehicle had not moved from the forward location, and still there were orders at the reverse location, and they were actually fighting for vehicles.
And they
That
were
was
giving
one
the
way.
rate.
That's one case. No, they actually realized what is the potential pre-code to go on.
Would you all 5 agree that transporters who worked during the COVID period made handsome margins? Yes or no?
Not handsome, but okay.
Better than
Better
today.
than what we are today.
So again, we're not
Maybe
for
good
that
money.
industry. हम लोग is, I mean, we're all long-term freight contracts. So
But in Fasa it was good, but Fasa it was big.
Okay. Let's two elements of business that have really changed the dynamics of road transport industry is tech and infra. So infra, we all know we have better highways, your trucks are moving faster, the more number of trips I would not say, because detention continues to be an issue, and we will talk about detention separately. But how much of tech has helped change or streamline your business?
Completely. Right now, what we are seeing, so we are operating on AI. You never thought anything like AI would come into the business and start depending to the customers. So, I think things have changed completely. We have ERP softwares, we have prediction. So as I told you, we did 45,000 parcels. So 70% of the prediction is done by the software. Software decides kaun sa vehicle place hoga, kitne baje hoga. Everything is taken care by the software. Manager just has to follow the instructions and use their basic जो exercise है, common sense basic exercise वही. Even for the damages, even for the packing part, बहुत सारी चीजें now software is doing. Even for the e-way bills. पहले आदमी बढ़ता था ई के पहले लेकिन ई-वे बिल्स, अभी तो जैसे एलआर बनाया ई-वे बिल अपडेट हो गया, नेक्स्ट एक्सटेंड हो जाता है. सो वी आर नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग. ऑटोमेशन इज कंप्लीटली टेकन केयर ऑफ. जो भी नॉर्मल डेली रूटीन है, चैलेंजिंग वर्क जहाँ पे ह्यूमन का जरूरत है, वहीं पे बाकी दिन सेकंड के बाद सॉफ्टवेयर. सो आई थिंक थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड कंप्लीटली विद अस.
what would know it? So I think I'll split it into multiple angles. One, the pre-AI and AI, because that's just probably been a 12-month phenomena. The pre-AI phenomena, if you go to see, most of the tech adoption that happened was pretty much anything and everything related to government mandates. Whether you call it e-way bill, GST, FASTag, our ability to go cashless. So, till the government did not mandate it, tech adoption in our industry
Was very slow.
was very, very slow. I would say negligible. So, private level pay, I mean, GPS also in a way became mandated. Maybe in our organizations, we all must have done it. But at an industry level, if you go to see, I think 80-90% of tech adoption happened only when it happened due to some initiative or angle that came from the government.
And I think tech and safety, these are two aspects which are usually driven by either the government or the customer. Transporters don't come forward and say, okay, let's do this.
Now, coming to the post AI, the last, say, 12 months, there I think what AI has done, it is managing to commoditize technology. A lot of what Chirag just spoke about, even at our level of business, was not affordable 5 years ago. I mean, there were ERPs, but then, say, a SAP ERP was maybe 2 crores or 5 crore rupees. So I think the commoditization of tech is happening. What we've seen in the past 12 months, maybe just at the surface level, the next 24 months will speak very interestingly. Because otherwise, if you see a lot of organizations who try to be technology companies in our space without really taking any names on such a forum, have not been successful, right? Sometimes, so back in the day, I used to feel peer pressure, यार कि ये सब ये लोग सब कर रहे हैं, and we are supposed to be the modern next gen guys, and we are still operating in such a way, and we may miss the bus and the valuation game and all of that. So at private tech level, it's been a very, very different ball game. At government-led technology adoption, I think both are completely different, and that shows externally also. Like we all must have also seen, we have this whole logistics index in which India gets a ranking, and to a great extent, whatever ranking improvement has come has come primarily due to whatever has been done in the tech stacks by the government, the improvement in ports, for instance, and a couple of other places.
No, Exim has a lot of challenge when it comes to making sure that the consignment gets there on time. I mean, that is very critical.
Yes.
How do you use tech to make sure this happens?
See, basically, in Axiom business, tech we don't use regularly because it all depends on the vessel. So for import, you have to depend on vessel, and if there is delay in vessel, nothing goes. And if you must have heard the war conditions, the vessels will not come. Correct. Same vice versa in exports also. Many times the customer faced a problem. The vessel which left from JNPT had to unload the containers at Mundra and Hajira. Because there was war condition. So of course that technology.
But apart from this but apart from the war scenario, in routine, because the consignment has to reach the vessel on time, that is very, very critical. So do you lose some element of tech to make sure that
it is basically GPRS what it's now we use, because we entirely depend on the customer itself. If he has manufactured the goods, of course they need to timely load. What comes at our part is driving and reaching the vehicle to the port and to the factory.
which is taken care of?
Yes.
Even reefer movement, and especially, when you talk of medicines and vaccines, a lot of monitoring goes into it, making sure it's at the right temperature and everything. Has tech made life simpler for you? And how do you pass on that to the driver who's actually monitoring all that?
So I think a lot of training is given, Girish. And like Mohit said, of course, some implementation was mandatory by government. But I come from the time where only GPS was there. And we had to constantly upgrade. I always say how much of tech is needed by a company, the company has to know it. And there's nothing better than your seniors telling you, and you have to do it in a phase manner, because not all people are going to get skilled. They are so used to using their manual ways. You have to train them, you have to skill them. And before you skill them, you have to skill yourself, right? And a lot of customization is, trust me, there's a lot of preventive analysis which come out with by all the OEMs. Fitting here, all of us say we use, how much of it do we use? If I have 4 OEMs vehicles using, how many people am I going to keep to track that? And I have my own software. Is there space for an integration? If that integration happens, there'll be an additional cost on transporters. So for me, I would differ where, of course, AI and tech plays a very, very important role because we carry life-saving drugs. What is important role for me? I have to have temperature sensor. I have to have a door sensor. I have to ensure my driver or Sati is trained well to ensure what the temperature in the container is, right? So how much of technology, how much of ERP, like he mentioned, we used to be rooftop prices. A mid-sized company like us, would we be able to spend that kind of money? We had to do it in a phased manner. So, and also the kind of people you employ. You may have CEOs, all of them put to place, right? But I think the first thing, family-run business, was they have to learn it. Then you can control a CEO or a VP, right? So, yes, I mean, for me, tech plays a very, very important role, but the implementation and integration is extremely need of an hour
That's what we
with
challenge.
very minimal cost. A transporter does not bleed.
Yes, and I agree to Rima's and the same way, because there are hardly 20 to 25% of the transport industry using or hold of this tech.
Only
There's-
5%.
Oh,
Only 5% I would say.
maybe at the end, airs pura. But of course, 70% of the fleet owners are of 5 or 5+ truckers.
There's in
They
basic
find it
GPI.
very much costly. Nah, they
वो तो
find
अभी
it very
यार
much
140
costly.
के लिए कंपलसरी कर दिया है.
Yes.
Like, I think I use a lot of tech, honestly, from where we started to where we are today. We are quite professional and we are working as per times. But just because you can't feel that left out, oh my God, I'm not there, because, for example, AI is important for him. Maybe AI is not important for me. But for me to implement ERP in a phased manner is more important. So what your company requires, what people need to also understand, what OEMs are offering, it should be a value add. The platforms which we are giving, because we as transporters are already investing in tech.
It has been raining heavily outside, and we also have a flood of ideas in this boardroom. We are extremely thankful to Vicky Khosla for letting us block his conference room for this meaningful conversation. We will keep this discussion going on next week as we talk of more issues, more technology, and the way forward for the industry. You have been watching Trans India, presented by Light Metrics, making roads safer for everyone, everywhere. Until next week, stay safe and drive safe. Jai Hind.
Managing a large, high-performing fleet takes more than data. It takes insight, visibility, and fast, focused action. RideView Fleet Portal brings it all together in one intelligent platform. Your fleet's safety health in one snapshot. See AI-powered coaching recommendations, top drivers, and risky event trends, so you always know what needs your focus. Zero in on critical safety risks, from speeding and distraction to fatigue. Filter by event, preview clips instantly, and take action in seconds. Speeding remains one of the most frequent and preventable risks on the road. RideView flags these incidents instantly, helping you monitor patterns and intervene early. Missed stops at intersections risk safety. RideView flags these events so you can act before they cause serious consequences. Tailgating and near misses are red flags for high-risk driving. RideView helps you identify and address these patterns proactively. Fatigue is hard to spot, but RideView's AI detects early signs like blink changes, helping you support drivers and avoid fatigue-related incidents. Seatbelts are a basic but critical safety measure. RideView helps ensure compliance by flagging violations, reinforcing safety culture in every vehicle. Phone use is a top cause of distraction. RideView detects it so you can coach drivers before it leads to accidents. Texting while driving raises crash risk 23x. RideView spots these moments on video, helping you act before an incident occurs. Track every vehicle in real time, with live video streaming that gives you full visibility into what's happening on the road. RideView's AI surfaces coachable moments, making sessions efficient, constructive, and focused on improvement. The result? Engaged drivers and measurable behavior change. Need to investigate an incident? Just select the trip and time. Request the video and track its retrieval in real time. No delays, no bottleneck. From insight to action, RideView empowers modern fleets to drive measurable safety and efficiency. Every trip, every day.